Hello, Fayetteville State University students, and welcome to the professional side of personal branding. So before jumping into our session, just wanted to share a little bit about me. My name is Eyden Thomas, and I have the privilege of leading our employer brand efforts here at Reynolds, meaning that I get to share all of the cool people, perks, and workplaces that make up our organization with the external world, so folks like yourself. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, and attended undergrad at Hampton University, where I received my degree in sociology, and then attended Wake Forest University for my master's in management. A few things that I've been up to during this pandemic. One, I've been doing a good amount of reading. So currently reading Eloquent Rage by Brittany Cooper. I've also watched a lot of late night show monologues. So not the entire show, but just that first part where they talk for a really long time. I find those entertaining for some reason. And then finally, been listening to a lot of R&B from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It is my absolute favorite genre of music. So a few things that you'll be able to walk away from this session knowing. One, you'll be able to understand how personal and professional branding are defined. Two, we'll identify the ways in which your personal and professional brands are interconnected. And then finally, you will gain some resources for your professional branding and networking toolkit. So what does that mean we will cover today? Well, first we're going to define personal branding. Then we will do an activity that connects your personal brand to your professional brand. We'll talk a little bit about your professional branding toolkit, and finally, a few key takeaways. I do ask that you have some pens, we'll be doing a few activities. Going to try to make this as engaging as possible. So let's start by defining what a personal brand is. I really like this definition from Jeff Bezos. Says, your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's a really great summation of what a personal brand is, but at the same time, doesn't really help me to define my personal brand. So we'll talk a little bit about how we can define our own personal brands. So your personal brand is defined by three things. One, your values, your beliefs, and your ambitions. Values speak to your morality. So what are characteristics that define your morality? Whether it's your faith, whether it's your belief in justice, authenticity, integrity. Those are all values. Next are your beliefs. So things that you believe strongly, or things that you know to be right, or things that you know to be wrong. Beliefs really help to guide our behaviors. And then finally, your ambition. So what are the goals that speak to your defined purpose, or your defined life's purpose? These three things together help us to define our personal brand. So now it's your turn. I want us to take the next 4 minutes to make a list of your values, beliefs, and ambitions. So take out that pen, pencil, paper, tablet, wherever you're capturing notes. And I just want you to make a list of what your values are, your beliefs, and your ambitions. So we'll take 4 minutes to do that. Time starts now. let's take about another minute for this activity, listing out your values, your beliefs, your ambitions. About 30 more seconds. All right, and that is time. So, in any other situation, I would definitely ask a few of you all to share, but instead, I will share my list of values, beliefs, and ambitions. So here they are. Some values that I hold or cling near to are faith, integrity, justice, and equality. Some of my beliefs include what I know to be absolutely right, is that everyone has a purpose and should be granted the opportunity to fulfill their purpose. Another belief is doing what's right and what's fair is important above all other things. I believe that strongly. And finally, my ambition or my goal in life is to be a lasting positive influence on the lives of others. So here you see my values, my beliefs, and my ambitions. Now we'll talk about how these help to define our personal brand and our professional brand. So now let's talk a little bit about your professional brand. Your professional brand is simply just a manifestation of your personal brand in a professional environment. We'll talk a little bit about what that means on the next slide. So, just like your personal brand is defined by your values, your beliefs, your ambitions, so is your professional brand. One thing that I want to make very clear is that your professional brand should not be a totally different person or a totally different manifestation of who you are. Authenticity is so important, guys. And at the end of the day, you want a professional brand that speaks to who you are truly and authentically. And so it's important that we stay very true to what our values, beliefs, and ambitions are, both in our personal brand and our professional brand. All right, guys, so we have another quick activity. This time I want you to draw a Venn diagram, similar to what we saw on the last slide. In the center, I'd like for you to put your values, your beliefs, your ambitions. On the left-hand side, I want you to put examples or attributes of your professional brand. And then on the right-hand side, examples or attributes of your personal brand. Okay, so we'll take another 4 minutes to do that. Time starts now. we'll take another minute and a half. All right. So hopefully you were able to fill out your Venn diagram there. Again, in other situations, I would ask a few folks to share, but since we won't have that time to share, I will share with you all my Venn diagram. All right, so here is my Venn diagram. And as you see again, I have my values, beliefs, and ambitions here in the center. On the left-hand side, my professional brand, here are some examples or things that define my professional brand. One, I'm a member of our African American Employee Resource Group, which allows me the opportunity to share Black culture with folks within our ERG, as well as my coworkers and the broader Reynolds organization. In my role as employer brand lead, I inform our campus recruitment marketing strategy, meaning that I help to determine what those touch points along the recruitment funnel look like. And so I think that this particular part of my job really speaks to my ambitions of being a lasting positive influence on someone's life, because my hope is that, one of the job postings or sponsored content ads that were sent out to our target audiences, that someone saw that, clicked on it, applied, got the opportunity, and then started their career. So to know that I had a hand in that really speaks to one of my ambitions of wanting to be a lasting positive influence on someone's life. And then mentoring interns is something that is very important to me and something I enjoy during my job, because I think it speaks to my beliefs that everyone has a purpose. And so I enjoy just talking to interns, hearing what their goals and ambitions are, and trying to help them define how they can get the most of their internship experience to help guide them on their path towards fulfilling their ultimate purpose. So for my personal brand, what my values, beliefs, and ambitions look like on that side is, one, I'm someone who prioritizes my family and friends above all else. My family, my friends mean the world to me, so I'm always there, always willing to lend a hand, always there to support my family and friends and whatever they have going on in their lives. So that also means that I attend a lot of Zoom parties to celebrate milestones and accomplishments. And then something else that I feel defines my personal brand is my community outreach and my involvement in my community. I volunteer at the YWCA as well as the Boys and Girls Club. So again, I think that my personal brand, or activities that define my personal brand, also still speak to my values, beliefs, and ambitions. And so hopefully, as you have worked on your Venn diagram, you can see how both your professional brand, what that looks like, and your personal brand align to those core values, beliefs, and ambitions. If we work on and practice keeping our values, beliefs, and ambitions at the core of both our personal and professional brand, we can maintain authenticity through our personal and professional brand. I know when I was starting my career, I felt that my professional brand had to be something totally different from my personal brand. So in a way, I was trying to be two different Edens, which can be very difficult because I felt like my professional brand could not have aspects of who I really was in the workplace. Otherwise, I might not be, seen as being professional. But what we're seeing now, especially in the workplace, is that authenticity is something that employers are wanting to see from potential employees, and something that is becoming more and more accepted in the workplace as opposed to assimilation, where you have to dress this way and you have to believe these things. But really, those diverse perspectives, bringing in those diverse experiences, diverse values, beliefs, and ambitions is becoming more desired by employers. So know that it's important that you remain authentic in your expression of your professional and personal brand. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about your professional branding toolkit. Love this quote. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So we're going to make sure that after today's session, you can stay ready. So whenever you have an opportunity to connect with someone or show your professional brand, you are ready to do just that. So three things that should encompass your professional brand toolkit. One, you need an elevator pitch. Two, you need an online presence. And three, you must have a professional network. So we'll talk a little bit about these three tools in your professional branding toolkit. So one, your elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is essentially a 30-second selling of your professional brand. That elevator pitch should answer these three questions. One, who are you? Two, how do you add value? And three, why should anyone care? So why do you need to have an elevator pitch? Well, one, you need to be able to speak to your professional brand. You never know who you might come across that asks you the question. So tell me about yourself. You want to make sure that first impression is a good, lasting, positive one. And so the easiest way to do that is to have an elevator pitch ready on hand for when someone might approach you and ask you that question. My recommendation would be to first write out your elevator pitch, make sure that it answers these three questions, and then practice it over and over and over again until it becomes something that's really second nature to you. So that's your elevator pitch. Secondly, you need to have an online presence, especially in today's age where just about everything is some type of presence online. Really signals to other professionals that your professional brand is relevant and up to date. So, of course, the easiest way to have an online presence would be to create a LinkedIn profile. So I would strongly recommend that if you do not yet have a LinkedIn profile, that you go out today and create one. If you do have a LinkedIn profile, I would strongly recommend that you go out today and make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Again, as you see my little line on the bottom, no matter what your online presence looks like, it's important that you keep those digital assets up to date. You wouldn't want someone to log onto your website because you're a graphic designer, but you haven't posted anything on your website or made any updates to your website since 2018. That would signify to someone that, maybe they're not really into graphic design work anymore. Maybe Eyden is no longer working in this field. So it's so important that we remain up to date on our online presence. So again, first task, if you don't have one yet, go out and create a LinkedIn profile. It's going to be very important as you move forward with networking and seeking out job opportunities. And then finally, your professional network. Your professional network, I would say, is the most important tool in your toolkit. Believe it or not, more people land jobs through traditional networking than they do applying for a job that they see online. And so it's important that you start now building and cultivating that network. So what are some ways that you can do that? Well, a lot of networking, of course, now isn't done in the traditional handshaking way, but instead online. And so again, why it's important to have a LinkedIn profile. And you can just go out and start connecting with folks. I think a good place to start would be to doing a search of some Fayetteville State alumni and seeing what type of fields they're working in, and connecting with those people who are either currently doing a job that you aspire to do one day, or working in a field that interests you, or for a company that interests you. Other people who you can connect with on LinkedIn include some of your peers at other schools, as well as people who you may have met through conferences or virtual info sessions online. Another great way, again, to network is to attend some of these virtual seminars. I've seen quite a few posted online, some of them even being free. And so I try to sign up for those that interest me. And while you're in those sessions, take note of who's there, take note of who the speakers are, and follow up on LinkedIn by reaching out to connect and saying, hey, we both attended this virtual seminar. I see that we might have similar interests in whatever it might be, would love to connect with you. So it's important, again, now to start building that professional network. And I bet if you just thought for 2 minutes, people who you could add to your network, you would come up with at least 10 people who you could reach out today, who you could reach out to today on LinkedIn and connect. So make sure that you're taking the time to build your professional network. All right, so I want to leave you with some key takeaways from this session. One, your personal brand is defined by your values, your beliefs, and your ambitions. Authenticity is key. And so when you're working on defining your personal brand, make sure that your values, beliefs, and ambitions are something that is true to who you are. By being authentic, you're going to set your personal and professional brand apart from others. Third, your professional brand is just a manifestation of your personal brand in a professional environment. They shouldn't be two totally different beings of you, just your personal brand in a professional environment. And then finally, be sure to amplify your professional brand by using your professional brand toolkit, which includes your elevator pitch, your online presence, and most importantly, your network. So I want to thank you guys so much. Hopefully you found this session useful. And I would love to connect with each and every one of you all on LinkedIn. So please be sure to reach out. And if you have any questions or comments about today's session, would love to hear those as well. So looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you all on LinkedIn. I would also strongly encourage you all to learn more about some of the early career opportunities that exist at Reynolds by following us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Again, I hope this session has been one where you've been able to glean some really good insights from, and I look forward to connecting with you all on LinkedIn and seeing those really strong professional brands